Long ago, tucked between 7 green hills and a winding brown river, there was a lively Nigerian village called Umokoro. The village was famous for 2 things: the sweetest roasted corn in the region and the loudest gossip market west of the river Niger. If a chicken sneezed in Umokoro, someone in the neighboring village would hear that it had caught malaria before sunset. Among the villagers lived a young man named Chukwudi. Nobody could beat Chukwudi when it came to talking. Ideas poured from his mouth like water from a broken clay pot. Every morning, he woke up with a brand new business idea. Every afternoon, he abandoned it. Every evening, he announced another one. The elders nicknamed him Professor Tomorrow. Not because he was educated. Because everything he wanted to do always started tomorrow. One Monday morning, Chukwudi ran into the village square shouting, "I have discovered the business that will make us richer than kings." The villagers gathered. "What is it?" He stood on a large stone dramatically. "We shall build the biggest palm wine center in Africa." Everybody clapped. Even children stopped chasing goats. Old Mama Nkechi smiled. "Wonderful idea. So when do we begin?" Chukwudi scratched his head. "We are still praying about it." The crowd dispersed immediately. One old man whispered, "Prayer without preparation is like cooking soup without firewood." 2 days later, another announcement. "My people." Everyone sighed. "What now?" "I have another idea." "What happened to the palm wine center?" "It was too small." "I have upgraded. We shall build a flying motorcycle." Silence. Even the village madman looked confused. An elder slowly asked, "Flying, what?" "A motorcycle that flies over potholes." One old woman laughed until she nearly swallowed her chewing stick. "My son, first repair the road before flying over it." Weeks passed. Every sunrise brought another announcement. "We'll export roasted yam. We'll invent self-cooking soup. We'll train goats to guard houses. We'll make mosquitoes pay rent." His ideas became stranger each day. Children began following him around carrying empty notebooks. Whenever he spoke, they pretended to write. One little boy asked, "Uncle Chukwudi." "Yes." "Which one have you actually started?" The whole market burst into laughter. Meanwhile, another young man lived quietly in the same village. His name was Obinna. He never made announcements. He simply observed. One afternoon, he noticed travelers always stopped beneath the big Iroko tree because they became thirsty after walking for hours. Instead of announcing his discovery to the village, he took action. First day, he borrowed 1 clay pot. Second day, he filled it with cool palm wine. Third day, he borrowed 2 wooden benches. Fourth day, he built a tiny shade using palm fronds. Fifth day, he made a wooden sign. "Welcome travelers." Nothing fancy. No speeches. No ceremonies. Just action. The first customer bought 1 calabash. The second customer brought 2 friends. Soon hunters rested there. Farmers gathered there. Drummers performed there. Travelers made it their favorite stop. Within months, the tiny shade became a proper relaxation spot. Within a year, it had become the busiest place in Umokoro. One afternoon Chukwudi visited. His mouth opened wide. "Obinna, when did you build all this?" Obinna smiled. 1 bench. 1 customer. 1 day. 1 plan. Instead of learning, Chukwudi became jealous. He called another village meeting. "My people." The villagers groaned. "What now?" "I have an even bigger project." Everyone looked tired already. "What is it?" We shall build the largest market in West Africa. The village chief asked calmly. Excellent. Where? We are still deciding. When? Soon. Who will build it? We'll form committees. What money do we have? We shall discuss it. The chief stood up. Meeting dismissed. The next month, Chukwudi announced another idea. This time, I'll start a poultry farm. Everyone ignored him. Instead of chickens, he first bought a giant signboard. It read, Chukwudi International Poultry Empire. The signboard was taller than his house. People came expecting thousands of chickens. They found one empty piece of land, one chair, one umbrella. No chicken. Not even one stubborn chick. Children started charging visitors ₦1 to come and see the famous invisible poultry. One mischievous boy stood before the signboard shouting, "Please don't step on the invisible eggs." The crowd laughed until tears rolled down their cheeks. Another added, "Careful. The invisible rooster may chase you." Soon the invisible poultry farm became the biggest tourist attraction in nearby villages. People came only to laugh. One evening, Chukwudi sat sadly outside his hut. An old tortoise named Mekwi slowly approached. In those days, animals still spoke when human beings were humble enough to listen. "My son, what troubles you? I have hundreds of brilliant ideas. But nothing changes." The tortoise smiled. "Come tomorrow morning. At sunrise." The tortoise placed 2 baskets before him. One basket contained hundreds of seeds. The other contained one healthy yam. "What do you see?" "A basket full of seeds. And one yam." The tortoise nodded. "Which feeds a family today?" "The yam." "And why?" "Because someone planted one seed many months ago." The tortoise looked into his eyes. "Dreams are seeds. Plans are planting. Work is watering. Success is harvest. You keep counting seeds. Others keep planting." Those words struck Chukwudi harder than a masquerade's cane. For the first time in his life, he stopped announcing. He stopped boasting. He stopped dreaming aloud. A week later, he secretly cleared a small piece of land. No announcement. He planted vegetables. He wrote down every expense. He woke before sunrise. He weeded regularly. He watered carefully. When pests appeared, he learned how to stop them. When heavy rain destroyed part of the farm, he planted again. Months later, his vegetables became the freshest in the village. Women fought over buying them. Restaurants came from neighboring villages. He expanded slowly. Then bought another plot. Then another. Eventually, he supplied vegetables across the region. One day, the same villagers gathered again. This time, there was no shouting. No giant promises. No dramatic speeches. They simply watched wagon after wagon carrying Chukwudi's produce to distant markets. An old woman smiled. "Our professor tomorrow has finally graduated." Everyone laughed. Even Chukwudi. During the next New Yam festival, the village chief invited both Chukwudi and Obinna to address the youth. Obinna said, "I succeeded because I started before I felt ready." Then Chukwudi stood. "I failed for many years because I loved talking about success more than working for it." He held up a rolled piece of paper. "This is the first business plan I ever wrote. I discovered something. Plans don't guarantee success. But without one, success hardly knows where to find you." From that day onward, Whenever a young person in Umokoro boasted about becoming rich without taking practical steps, the elders would simply point toward Chukwudi's old invisible pottery signboard, which they had kept standing as a reminder. Everyone would laugh. Then they would say, "An idea without a plan is only a visitor in your mind. A plan with action builds a home for success." And that is why, in many Nigerian villages, elders remind dreamers. The tallest building is first drawn on paper. Even the mighty Iroko tree began with a seed planted in the ground, not one merely admired in the hand. Moral of the story: brilliant ideas are valuable, but they remain dreams until they are backed by a clear plan, consistent action, patience, and perseverance. The world rewards execution, not endless announcements.